Okay. Carrie, you up?
I am.
Okay. Okay, who wants to be first tonight? Looks like Carrie's first.
All right.
Go ahead, Carrie. You got anything new to tell us?
Well, what we're doing is we're starting to make some headway, and got a couple of things we're doing. But we got a guy up here that I know. He's working in his outside of his house. He's got a little, I don't know, banner telling them that that he's got work going on or whatever. And so what happened was they're trying to get him. They're trying to sue him to get him because he won't leave the front yard. They said that he can't do it because he hasn't bought a permit, and the signage and so on and so on. So what we're doing is, as these what are they? Politicians, they go around and put signs in the front yards of everybody's house. We're taking pictures of them, and we're going to go down and file a lawsuit against the city. $1,000 per sign per day that they let them say there unless they're permitted. So we're gonna make them get a permit. If they want to put a sign in the front yard of somebody's house, that sign has to be permitted. Mm-hmm. So, to say the very least, it's created quite a stink.
Uh-huh. We had a fellow one time who kept getting parking tickets, so he filed charges against the police department for running slot machines. They dropped it real quick. They were gambling machines.
Yeah.
Parking meters.
Wow, yeah. Well, the whole thing we have to understand, the other problem that I'm having is you've got to stop I say you, and I don't mean you in particular. We got to stop focusing on just the money. Because when you do that, you lose track of what we're trying to do. How do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. So, in order to be able to be effective, what we have to do is we have to go in and have a plan. Ultimately, we're going to get paid. But when you jump to the end of the row and try to get paid before you've done your other stuff, because of it's their system. So what we're doing is, you may have to get, what I'm finding out is if I ask a question to, let's just use a bank. I start asking questions to the bank, they'll answer questions. I just ask them one or two questions, one, maybe two, three, one. Pretty soon they get lockjaw. Then I know I've got enough. They don't realize what I'm doing because I'll talk about the attorneys, and then I'll talk about, how did they get this and how does that happen? Then they'll realize what they did. And so then what ends up happening is what we end up doing is we go ahead and now we have something against them. Does that make sense? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make them perform to what their political their political status says they have to do. And there's no reason to go in there and sit there and these sons of bitches, you can't do this. See, I go in and like I was telling you, we're still getting checking accounts with no Social Security numbers on them. I've had a couple of calls where they're having trouble because they go in there and they want to pounce on the banker. They want to pounce on them. And you just don't do that. You go in there and you start asking questions. Once you get 6 or 7 questions answered, they'll know where you're going, then they'll stop answering it. Believe me, 6 or 7 answers is all you need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and so everything that we're doing is we're still doing jurisdictional stuff. For those of you that are on Social Security and they're taking your Social Security money or they're taking your Social Security, that one's working really well right now. It's working really well. And what we're doing on that is we're doing the same thing. See, we're asking the Social Security Administration. I'm confused. And I don't take credit for anything. I tell them all the time. Basically, here's a letter I would write. I'm supposed to be getting $2,000 on my Social Security. I'm getting $500. I don't understand. $1,500 it's short. I'm confused. I just don't understand. Is there a reason the $1,500 is missing? Because my records show I'm supposed to get $2,000. Well, if they don't answer you the first letter, you don't stick a fork in it. Then you ramp it up. You send 3 letters the next week, then 4 letters the next week. See, eventually they'll answer you and they'll tell you what's going on. See, now I've got enough in my hand to now clean their clock. In other words, they're going to give me what I want, because if they don't, they've already admitted to making the mistake. They're going to say, well, we have to do this. Oh, you have to, I see. See, now, if you have to, then you have to know why you're doing it. And then, all of a sudden, I've got what I need to unleash their own process against them. Same thing with the bank. Same thing with your job. What they're doing, is the IRS is sending to people's job, I call it a job, profession, whatever you want to call it, where you make your living. And what they're saying is he can't be exempt. They'll do a lock-in letter. Well, what we're doing is on the lock-in letter, first thing we do is we write a letter, not an ugly letter, because you've got to keep your job. The last thing I want to do is make you lose your job, because you can get it back, but in the meantime, what are you going to do to eat? So you just ask the payroll, hey, I don't understand. They're taking my money. I'm supposed to be whatever. They're going to tell you, well, we got a lock-in letter. You already know that. Don't tell them that you know that. Let them tell you that. They'll say, well, you got a lock-in letter, or you got a letter that the IRS said we have to do this with. Once they tell you that, that's when they gave you a gift. The reason I say that is we have to do that because, okay, I have to come to your house and beat you up. I don't have a choice. Well, why is that? I can't tell you. See, they're not going to do that. They're going to say we have to do that because the IRS said. Now we've got something. Well, what did the IRS say? They'll tell you. Now, if they share it with you, then it's easy, because the IRS is outside of their legal ability to do it. If they don't tell you, then what we do is we have a series of again, let's say I have 6 things for you to send them. You don't put all 6 in an envelope and mail it to them. What you do is you do 6 different letters. what we're trying to do is we're trying to do it as gentle as we can so that the company will stop doing it. And what we do is we try to show them, well, the IRS is, well, you have a levy. Well, no, I don't have a levy. See, you go to the county and you pull it. And we'll get into that if you're interested. And it says notice of levy. See, now you can ask the company, I have a notice of levy, not a levy. The reason I got the notice of levy is I went to the court, had it adjudicated. So the IRS hasn't answered yet. So that's why it's a notice. It's a notice until they answer me. So they're coming to you. That doesn't make sense. All they got to do is answer me so I can fix it. I've already had it adjudicated. And then, see, and we just build the case. We're building a case, piece by piece by piece. The company will understand it. Once you've hooked them 6 or 7 times, they're going to start jumping on the IRS saying, hey, we're doing this for you. And the IRS, in most cases, don't answer their questions. So now they can see the handwriting on the wall. I've got a company that's worth $300 million, $100 million, $40 million, $15 million. I'm going to lose my company because he's already adjudicated it. So we build it. What we're doing is we're building it one bite at a time. Instead of saying, they got my money, I got to have my money, give me my money. If you don't give me my money, I'm going to come up there and beat you at the club. See, the money is ultimately what we're looking for. But instead of approaching it in anger, and you are angry, I understand it, we're approaching it, soft. I need 40 bites of the elephant, so the elephant will fall down, and then I go there and scoop what I want. Well, it takes 40 bites for the elephant to fall, but I only got 20. Well, I got 20. It's staggering, so then I can go after the company gently. Look, every time I write you a letter, this is what every time the IRS, see here, you told me the IRS said. I went after the reason it says notice of is because, you see, there's stuff that says a notice isn't a notice isn't a lien. A notice of lien isn't a lien. And so we're building these bites of the elephant to where the company can see the handwriting on the wall. They're not stupid. The company didn't get to where it is by being stupid. That didn't happen. So it'll see, all of a sudden it'll wake up and see. Now we have a fighting chance because now the ground is level. See, we're pushing a rope up a hill. That's extremely difficult. But we can push a rope on level ground, or we can put whatever you want to say. That way we don't have as much. How do I say it? It's just easier because But I've been in contact with several people this week, and I'll say, well, let's try. I got to have my money. Well, I got to have my money. I'm going to have my money. That's all they focus on. Well, I can't make them give it to you, but let's get a plan, and let's work the plan. If it's good, then let's work it. You will get your money. Once you get your paycheck back to you, or once you get your Social Security back in line, now you can sit back and relax, and we can go get your money. We can go to the claims court. We can go back to the tax court. We can go to the federal district court. Because now we have enough pieces to do that. See? Now, the other thing that I'm finding out is, I'm going to ask the question. If you know the answer, come in and answer it. But if you're going to sue the Internal Revenue Service, every court is a court of limited jurisdiction. Where would you sue? Where would you sue the IRS agent? In what court? Can somebody tell me that? So I can explain to you, and that might help you on your next argument. Okay, once we start down this path, you're going to need to know that. So if you want to know that, come in and answer, and then I'll help you. I'll help you show you how This is my strong suit, tying crazy stuff together.
What was the question again?
The question is, you have to sue the Internal Revenue Service agent Mary Lou. Okay? What court would you sue her in? And then why? Well, they don't have a silent court, okay? A silent court doesn't exist. Okay. Hello?
Would you go to civil court for that?
Say that again?
Would you go to civil court?
Okay. Would you go to civil court? Yes, you would go to civil court in Alaska. That's where you would go. That's correct. Now, does that make sense? Civil court in Alaska?
Well, in civil court, they have to prove their side, don't they? I can make a claim.
Now, all of a sudden, okay, let's talk about it. When you say civil court, they have civil court both in state, county, and federal. So to say civil court, that would be like saying, okay, go ahead. I'll show you what it's like saying. Go ahead. Civil court.
I thought federal then.
So you go to federal. See, there's a big difference there. Now, I want to ask you a question so we can get back to it. How much air pressure do you think NASCAR puts in their cars so they can go 200 miles an hour and not have tire failure? How much air pressure do they put in it?
I wouldn't know. I don't know.
What would you like to take a guess?
Well, I'd say, I don't know, I run about 90 in my truck tires.
Okay.
90 pounds, 90 PSI.
They put 0.
Oh, really?
They put nitrogen in it. See? There's nitrogen. It keeps the tires softer. It keeps them cooler. Gives them better traction. Makes the tires last longer. At 200 miles an hour, taking those big curves like that, a tire, you'd go around the corner 3 or 4 times, they'd be shredded. So they put nitrogen in them. See? I understand. It is a PSI, but there is no air in it. See, that's what we have to understand. Those are the questions we have to ask. Now, let me show you what you have to do. You cannot sue the Internal Revenue Service or the Internal Revenue Service agent in federal civil court. You can't do it. And the reason for it is the federal district court is a U.S. court. It's a federal court. The Internal Revenue Service works for the IMF, and so does the federal government. So what you're doing is you're saying, so we have to understand this. So let's just talk about it for just a moment. If you go on the U.S. District Court's website, it says jurisdiction. I think there's 9 things that you can take to that court, and yes, it would be civil. And it tells you the IRS is not listed and taxes isn't listed. Now, just for a sidebar, if you know somebody that went to court and they went to prison, they went to prison by going through the United States District Court. You didn't know any better. Since you didn't know any better, you went to prison on a court that had no jurisdiction over the Internal Revenue Service. See? So what we have to do is the federal district court can hear federal questions, and they have them there. They have 9 of them, I believe. So what you do is you go to the United States Tax Court. The United States Tax Court will make the commissioner answer the question. They'll come back and say they don't have jurisdiction because we didn't give you a notice of deficiency or notice of determination. A lot of people have that. Now, there's your question. Your question is, how in the world did they do it without jurisdiction? Now it's a federal question. We can now write a lawsuit that says, this is a motion for to answer a federal question. See, now we can graft the whole lawsuit over the federal question. The question is, how does a federal you don't have to sit there and say, how does the IMF? You just sit there and say, how does the Internal Revenue Service put a levy against me when they didn't have jurisdiction? So the federal question is, does the IRS have to obey federal court orders? See, now it's something you can do. See, that's how they do it. See, now I want you to think about this for a minute. You bought a brand new Suburban made by Chevy. You're driving down the road and the front end falls off and flips over and hurts you. Who are you going to sue?
Well, the manufacturer, Chevy.
Okay, why wouldn't you? Well, wait a minute. Why wouldn't you sue General Motors?
Unless they built the component, I'd sue whoever built it.
See how now you see that makes sense. You would sue Chevy. Let Chevy then subpoena General Motors in. That's good for you because General Motors has more money than Chevy. But you're exactly right. See, you can't sue Buick and you can't sue Cadillac, even though the Chevy's put together in a General Motors plant. It still carries the Chevy name, and that's the same thing we have to sit back and start thinking. You know, I sued the IRS agent, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. They never answered me, so I put in for a motion for a default judgment. The judge says denied. Well, wait a minute, they never answered me. So I went back for a finding of facts and conclusions of law. The judge said denied. So what I did was I said, well, okay, I'll just appeal it. I appealed it. The appellate court said denied. I said, well, wait a minute, why? That's when the appellate court gave me a motion that says we don't have jurisdiction because the United States District Court didn't have jurisdiction. So I thought, wait a minute. So I wrote a letter to the United States District Court in Washington, D.C., and I printed out a ream of paper, put them in envelopes, and I put stamps on them. And every 2 days I mailed it to them. I got about 75 to 100 letters mailed. I finally got it back, and they said, we don't give legal advice. I didn't ask for legal advice. I don't care about legal advice. So I went back and changed the letters a little bit, did the same thing. They finally come back and said, well, we don't have jurisdiction on anything the IRS touches. Anything with the IRS's name on it, we can't touch it, basically. So then I realized the reason they wouldn't hear my case, they don't have jurisdiction on the IRS. So what I did was I changed my lawsuit to, here's what they did. Now, the IRS didn't do it. I went to the tax court, and they violated a United States federal court. I got a certified copy of my lawsuit, which was I went to the tax court. I got a dismissal for lack of jurisdiction. So the IRS violated the United States court order. Now my suit was basically the same lawsuit against the same person, but now it was written a motion to answer a federal question. They couldn't wait to do it. They were excited to do it. I understand this is a minor thing, but this is where we get into trouble. I'm going to ask you another question. Do you mind? I'm not trying to isolate you, guy. I'm just trying to. No,
that's fine. I'll try to give you a decent answer.
Okay, you rob a bank with a fully automatic 50 caliber sniper rifle that's fully automatic. That rifle cannot be owned by the public. It's a military rifle. I rob a bank with a hammer. Who goes to jail? The hammer, by the way, you can buy it at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. The hammer is not illegal. Who goes to jail?
Well, if they have us both in custody, we're both going.
Okay, but they don't have. They're looking for us. But when they find, now they're got to find us. Now but who goes to jail, and then why?
Well, you both robbed the banks, or you're both going to jail.
There it is. Has nothing to do. See, it has nothing to do with the fully automatic rifle or the hammer. That has nothing to do with it. That don't even play into it. Why? Because the act of robbing the bank is a felony or a federal or illegal. See, this is the same thing. We're trying to take what the IRS did and force it into the United States District Court. That's why they set it up this way. You got to understand that the IRS is not part of the federal government. So what we have to do is we have to line everything up. Does that make sense? To where
you said the U.S. You said the U.S. District Court. Did you mean tax court, or we can't take it to the U.S. District Court?
You can take, okay, the United States tax court is an Article 3 constitutional court. That's why you can get in there. The United States District Court isn't a constitutional court, so they can pick and choose what they see. I understand. All right, it's like this. What size of shoes do you wear, by any chance? Do you mind me asking you that?
Well, I cheated. I've heard this one. Yes, I can wear a size 12 comfortably, a 13 and a 14, and I don't know about a 17 or 18, but I'd give it a shot.
Okay, do you see? And that's what we're doing. We're trying to force something into something that doesn't matter. In other words, it matters. But let's. I've been real successful with getting a strategy. The strategy is go to the tax court, get your court order. Once you get your court order, then you get it certified. You get a certified copy of your court order. Well, now you can go to the United States District Court because a United States tax court is equivalent to the United States federal court because they're both U.S. courts. Now,
so
the United States
the order,
bankruptcy,
the judgment they send you is not certified. When they send, you have to request a certified copy.
You have to request it so they can charge you for it. They charge you $1 a page. Okay, what they do is when you get the certified copy, it'll have a wet ink signature of the judge, and it'll have an embossment on it, and then it'll say this is certified. So for a buck, it's the best buck. It might be $5. I don't remember. Don't hold them to it. I called them and got 8 or 9 of them, and then I took them down and went to a professional copy and let them copy it because my embossment is on my copies. So I have enough to see. So what I do because when I don't need, it's easier to get it when you don't need it. Okay, my truck has a 22-gallon tank on it. I drive it until it gets down to 5 gallons, and I go fill it up. I don't wait until I run out. Now, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I got to push my truck 7 miles to get gas. It's better to put gas in before I run out. It's better to get your certified copy. I don't need it today. I understand you don't. You may never need it. But wouldn't it be better to spend $20 and have what you needed when you need it? See?
Yes, it would.
And there was an article in the paper here. Some couple of thugs broke into a 90-year-old man's house, and he shot him. And he said, "My God, guy, you shot him 8 times." He said, "That's only because my gun doesn't hold 9." See, that's the same thing. Well, they were probably dead after the second. He said, "I know they're dead now." And see, that's what we need to do. We need to be ready, prepared, and it's not a need. That way, it's not a knee-jerk reaction. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does. See? Did I ask you when that judge signs it, are they all signed by the chief judge, or are they signed by is that the one that signs for them?
Okay. In my case, I got mine several years ago. Mine are signed by Chief Judge Foley. Now it's somebody else. That judge signs it. Now, if you go online, it'll tell you who's going to sign it. What they do, it's not really a signature, it's a stamp, but it doesn't matter. It's still there. Then they put the...
No, I was just curious.
Right.
I ended up getting mine when it was by the chief judge. I didn't know if that was better or worse, the same. I just didn't know.
It doesn't matter. It's their... See, it's their system. We have to use their system. Now that you said that, you know, I'm having a couple of issues with a couple of guys, and they say, well, why don't you go to the what is it, the common law court and get your judgment, and then go, well, here's the problem. Going to the common law court, you get a signature, a certified document from the common law court judge. How do I go to the common law sheriff and let him help you implement it? See, I'm taking theirs, and I can take it to the sheriff, and he goes with me, or I'll take it to the constable, or whatever you got. Some places got precincts, some has. I'm from Michigan, and they have townships. So you have a sheriff over the townships, you know, or whatever it is. So now you have a document that's recognized by the police department. See, now you take a document, signed by somebody that they don't recognize, they're not going to help you. I don't know if you heard this or not, but if you have a colored television set and Mickey Mouse walks out in front of the camera, what color is Mickey Mouse? Do you know? All right, let me make it easier. You have a black and white TV. What color is Mickey Mouse on the black and white TV?
Well, he's imaginary, so I actually has no color, exactly. But I see black. See? Right.
Wait a minute. So in other words, how can you see imaginary? So you believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy also? See? In other words, we're a fiction. I don't care if I'm a fiction or not. I can go into their court and manipulate that judge to give me what I want. And the reason I do it, because I never tell them anything. I do not go in there and say, I'm a sovereign. This court is some... I go in there, he asks me a question, not a problem. I answer the question he asked. Most people, you ask them a question, and they do what I call TMI, too much information. So you'll say, What's your name? My first name, my middle name, my last name, my wife's name. I got 3 kids, their name on my dad's name. In other words, that's not what they ask you. What's your name? Thank you for asking. I say that on everything. Thank you for asking. What's your name? Big boy.
Well, you said it's what? You said it's what?
I'm sorry?
No, I'm just kidding. You said it's what? You said what is my name?
There you go. See, no, my name isn't what, sir. See, you could do it that way.
Right.
See, what you're doing is you're answering the question they asked. And apparently it's pretty difficult. I thought it just came to me natural. And so I'm just trying to show people, if we sit down, I'm good at strategies. And so what
you're a smart man. Most people are too agreeable. You know, they just want to agree to get along, and gets everybody in trouble. You know.
Right. And so what I'm trying to do is I go in there, and one of the questions I ask on everything I write is, I'm not an attorney. I cannot give legal advice. Attorney, so-and-so, you're an attorney, and you're required to know the law. I'm not asking for legal advice. I showed you my court order. You said that's not what it says. So now you tell me what it says. They don't tell me. Now I can take them to federal district court on the grounds. I have a federal document. The attorney said that's not what it says, and now you won't answer me. I'm confused. I need the judge to now make the decision. See, I can work it to where I can use the federal district court. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does to me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want to interject a real quick question. When you get the document certified, which documents are you doing? Just the judgment, or all the paperwork and all the evidence and everything else?
What I did is I got my My court order, I got it certified. And then what I did is I have the motion. So I asked them to certify the signatures on the motion, and they embossed it. So my motion that came from the attorneys for the Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, the signature page has the embossment on it.
Okay, so you didn't bother doing the 500 other pages.
Well, it's only 5 pages.
Right, not 500 like pages. The whole thing is, yeah. The whole document was like 500 pages. I didn't know how much I was supposed to
because and the reason for it, they're trying to give you all this information. Break it down. If you look at it, it's going to be 5 pages. There's 5 pages of motions and 450 pages of whatever it is that they did. And none of that matters because, see, okay, let me ask you a question. Is it possible that you got a notice of deficiency? Is that possible?
It's possible, but it didn't happen.
Now wait a minute. Okay, now
it's possible.
What does it look like? What? Wait a minute. What does it look like? What color is the paper? What color is the font? What size is the font? Tell me that.
I don't recall, but I do recall.
Okay, so wait a minute. So in other words, you're saying it's possible to get something and you don't know what it looks like. Not a problem. I'm going to send you a check for $10,000. I'm not going to sign the check. Tell me what you just got.
I got a check that is not redeemable in cash or in.
So what is it? It's a worthless check. It's no good.
It's a worthless check.
See? Yep. All right. Okay. So I got a notice of deficiency that's worthless. I got a notice of deficiency that's a counterfeit. See, that's a whole other argument. So I can use that to my advantage. Anything the IRS does, I'm able to use it to my advantage. I don't care what it is they do. It's wrong. It's wrong 100% of the time. See, so instead of saying them sons of bitches, they can't do that. Tell them that. See, just like that. All right, now let me ask you a question. If I walk up to you and poke you in the eye, I bury my index finger to the knuckle in your eyeball, would it hurt?
Would it hurt who?
See how simple that was?
Yeah.
Because see, if you say yes, I'm going to bring 500 people into court that can say it didn't hurt me at all. See, until I define what it is. So I never received a notice of deficiency. If they say, well, you did, well, let me see what you gave me so that we can question it. Now, is anybody in front of a computer right now? And I'm going to show you what absolutely has to be on it. There's no options. If it's not on it, it's invalid. It's a fraud. It's frivolous. And then I'm going to get into frivolous and tell you how we're dealing with the frivolous. Is anybody in front of a computer right now?
Yes, I am.
Would you look up Title 26, Section 6065? And while you're looking that up, now we're getting letters from the IRS and they're saying it's frivolous. We're going to ask for a $8,000, $5,000 penalty if you don't change your mind. So what I did is I thought, that's a blessing. So the only way my question could possibly be frivolous is their answer was frivolous. Because all I'm doing is having it very clarified. In other words, if I poke you in the eye, will it hurt? Hurt who? If you say that again, that's frivolous. Oh, okay. So would it hurt? No, it wouldn't hurt. My dog's still running around with my finger stuck in his eye. See, I use everything they say to my advantage. When I went to the IRS about 2 weeks ago, it might have been 3 weeks ago, we walked in there and I introduced myself. The first thing out of my mouth was, Agent so-and-so, Agent Billy Bob. I just want you to understand this. Anything, now listen to me really close, anything you say can and will be used against you. Go ahead and start your conversation. The man got lockjaw. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't pry his mouth open with a crowbar. The man had lockjaw. We stood there and looked at each other for about 2 minutes, a minute and a half. I said, well, since the cat got your tongue, here's my documents. I laid my documents on the table, and we walked out the door. We ain't never heard another word from him. Because, see, once I hold them responsible, I can now go to the federal district court, because my question is, if I go see the IRS and they request me to go there and I ask them a question, can they lie? That's a federal question. What are they going to say? Well, yeah, good. Since they can lie, thank you. See? In other words, I put them in a very peculiar situation. Now, who's going to look up 26, 60, 65?
I was.
Do you have it?
I will in just a second. I have 60, 20.
All right. Now, when you do read it, I'm going to stop you so we can explain what we're doing here. Because does anybody here have a checking account? I want you, if you do, get a check out, because I'm going to explain to you about why this is doing it the way they're doing it, because they've changed some things in the last several years. So, who's reading 60, 65? Me.
All right,
Lance? Me. That's okay. Me.
Go ahead.
I want you to start reading it, and I'm going to stop you. Go ahead and start reading it for me.
26 U.S. Code 665. Except as otherwise provided by the Secretary.
Stop right there. Hold on. So the Secretary, the Secretary is over the Internal Revenue Service, right? So anything that the Secretary, if it's outside of the Secretary, then they can't do anything. So go ahead and start right there.
Okay. Except as otherwise provided by the Secretary, any return, declaration, statement, or other document required to be made.
Hold it. You're going to. Okay. Now read those four things again, and tell me if you think a notice of deficiency would fall within that grounds. Read those four things.
Any return, a declaration, statement, or other document required to be made.
Stop right there. That's all. You're going too fast. Hold on. Do you think a notice of deficiency is one of those four documents?
A statement, I would assume, or a document.
Oh, that's fine. Okay, so it is possible that it falls within those four. In other words, it's not a return, but that's okay. A statement. Anyway, there's four documents there.
It's a declaration, statement, or a document.
All right. Now, it's a declaration, so your notice of deficiency is a declaration that you didn't pay them. That's fine. Now, let's see what has to be on it in order for it to be valid.
Required to be made under any provision of the Internal Revenue laws or regulations shall contain or be verified by a written declaration that is made under the penalties of perjury.
So, it has to be signed under penalties of perjury. Now, let's back up. If I write you a check for $10,000 and I don't sign the check, what do you have?
Invalid check.
Okay, if you get a notice of deficiency and it's not signed under penalties of perjury, what do you have?
Invalid, insufficient.
Isn't that something? That's what we're doing. I never received a statutory notice of deficiency because 6065 is a statute. If it's not on that, then it's non-statutory. In order for it to fall under a valid check, it has to be signed from a bank, the bank that I own, blah, blah, blah. There's 4 or 5 things that are going on. It has to be that way. Now, does anybody have a check that they would mind not writing or nothing? I want them to look at the check, because the word check on the check is spelled extremely awkward. Does anybody have a check that they can read and tell me how the word check is written on the face of the check?
I was just driving away. Keegan was riding around the block. He rolled down the window while they're just down the random street. Goes, "Fire, who's up?" Then he comes in.
All right. Can anybody tell me?
Okay, I'll be back. You guys.
Need anything from me?
All right. What did you say? Okay. Did you find the word check on your check?
Is somebody else looking or just me?
Okay, well, let me tell you what it says, okay? I'll spell it for you. You ready?
Okay.
That's how you spell it. You want me to spell it again? There. I just spelled it again. Did you get it?
Yes, it's not written on there.
Exactly.
Check.
Exactly. So when you get a check, is it a check? I don't care that you can cash it. That's not the question. See, PMI. What is it? Could it be an insurance script? Could be federal script? Could be bank script? Could be military script? In other words, it isn't a check. How do I know? The word check is not on it. I drive a Ford. Do you know how I know? Because it has Ford written on it. If you drive a Subaru, it has Subaru written on it. I'm writing a check. Would it have check on it? But it doesn't. Why? I don't care why. That's just, this is the stuff that's evolving, and these are just things that I recognize and I notice, and things that okay, now I'm going to use that against them. See? If the government asks me, did you pay your taxes? Well, of course I did. I wrote you a check. Didn't you get it? Well, yeah, but it wasn't signed. Oh, I got a letter right here that isn't signed. I thought that's how you do it. See, I'm going to put a black marker through my line because they'll sign it and get it stamped anyway. I take a mark salon, I scribble right through the name and a little bit on the account number so they don't know who it is. Now, I send it to them. Did you pay it? I did. Well, you didn't sign the check. I know. I got this letter from you, and it's not signed. I thought that's how you did it. Under 6065, it says it's no good unless it's signed. Yours no good, mine's no good. What's wrong with that? This is just drives them nuts. Does that make sense?
I looked up the word check.
Yep.
And on the explanation part, it says expressing assent or agreement. That's as a noun, it's an examination to test or ascertain accuracy. As a verb, examine to order, it's determine its accuracy, quality, or condition, or to detect the presence of something.
Now, don't you think it's important that we start knowing what words mean?
It's kind of like checking your account. You're checking.
Oh.
That's pretty wild.
But it's not. But there's no word check on it, so it's not a check.
Right. You're just checking if the funds are sufficient.
I don't care. Right. It's not my.
No, I'm just guessing.
Deal. I know.
Okay.
But see, this is what I use. That's to my advantage. See, I use everything they say. We get a letter and it says, if you have a lien in the county, do a 12277. That's a IRS form. Fill it out and send it off. They're going to give you a gift that you will not sleep for days. The gift is so great and so wonderful, you're going to love it. What's going to happen is they're going to say you don't qualify because of 6332J. Now, you know what that means? That's frivolous. That's a frivolous answer. So I write a letter and I say, that's a frivolous answer. Here's why. I give them the exact chapter and verse where it says that's frivolous. I'm giving you, I'm going to give you 2 weeks to erase the notice of lien, or I'm going to sue you for $8,000 for a frivolous letter. That's what they're doing to us. And buddy, they don't know what to do with it. Because as soon as they get served, their whole story changes. So far, every 12277 we've sent in, an agent has actually answered it and signed it. So we have an agent and an address where to go. What's confusing is I live in Texas. I send it to Austin, and I'll get a letter from San Francisco. They'll play the shell game, and that's okay. Now I've got somebody that I can do it. See, now, do you see how I can form that as a question? I'm going to sue you for a federal question. I'm trying to have a notice of lien released because the cart's before the horse. That's right on their thing. And they say it was put on prematurely. So then what I tell them is, because it was put on prematurely, I went to the tax court, and the tax court, the commissioner told the tax court they didn't have jurisdiction. Now they're saying under 6332J that I don't qualify. That is a frivolous argument. Now, I'm going to sue that agent in federal court on the grounds the federal question is, see the problem? Now they got a problem because they're telling me one thing and it has nothing to do with it. That's frivolous. That's the very definition of frivolous. And what I'm doing on my letters is I'll say to them, I'm going to give you 21 days to release any and all notices of liens in Tarrant County, or I'm going to file a lawsuit in federal court with my federal question. Your argument is frivolous, parentheses, fraudulent. See, now I've got a federal question. It's not, these sons of bitches it's not about that. See, I now have a federal question that falls within the grounds of the United States District Court. Now, if the court ignores me, guess what? It's now grafted the way they can see it. When I appeal it, they've got to, see, they can't move forward. So if they're doing something to you, okay, for an example, you get a speeding ticket, you go to court, the judge rules against you. If I appeal it, it might take 6 years for that appeal to hit the appellate court because they don't want to see it. In that 6-year period that it's in limbo, they cannot do a bench warrant. They cannot put out a warrant from IRS because that court doesn't have jurisdiction anymore. So the federal district court, they won't answer me. So when I'm in the other court, they can run to. When I'm in the appellate court, they're going to run to the United States District Court and get all this stuff to threaten me. It doesn't matter. It's not in their jurisdiction anymore. It's now in the appellate court's jurisdiction. Therefore, I can get an automatic stay for whatever reason. Does that make sense? See, to me, this is what I'm doing. I don't know whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent. I just know this. They hate to see me come. I have a courthouse right here down the road from my house. If I get a ticket, I have to go there. That's in my precinct. That's in my area, or however they got it laid out. I live in that court's jurisdiction for tickets. When I show up there, they won't let me in. So I have to call the judge. Hey, Judge, I got his number on speed dial. Hey, Judge, this is Kerry. I got a speeding ticket. He's dismissed. He don't even want me in his courtroom. Because when I'm in the courtroom, it's over. It's done. They're all done collecting money for that day. It's done. My goal is to go to court and do who's on first, what's on second. I don't know who's on third. That's my goal. And the reason for it is everybody from me back, I'm the last one. Whenever I go in there, I'm the last one. See? But that's okay. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
See, what I'm okay. Do you know what 3-card Monte is?
I've seen it. I haven't played it.
Okay, then tell me what it is.
Where you get a hustler that does 3 cards, and you try to pick the blackjack or whatever one he tells you to pick, the queen, whichever.
Correct. Well, do you know why you can never win?
I think it's because he's always palming the card.
Exactly. The one he wants you to pick, he shows it to you, he palms it, and then you no matter what cards you pick, it's in his palm. That's what they're doing to us. So I see the palm trick. So when I go there, I put my hands on the two. I put my hands on the 2 outside cards and say that one there. If that one's black, then or however I do it. See, no matter what they do, see, I'll say, okay, I'll flip these 2 over, and they're both black. That's what it is. The one in the middle, it has to be red or you cheated. The guy hands me my 20 back and says, you're not playing anymore. Okay. See? So when I go there, I go, okay, hold on. I'll put my hand on the one in the middle and say, now turn that one over and that one over. They're both got, so this one here, well, as soon as he turns them both over, they're black. I'll say, I'm not even going to look at this one. But it has to be the red card. Yeah, here's your 20. Get out of here. You're not playing anymore. Okay. See, that's what I do. See, I bring them, what I do is I bring them an argument they don't understand. Why? Because they're not trained, and I'm not trained, but it just works this way. See what I'm saying? Now, I want to ask you a question. I've got a 9mm and I got a 45. I'm going to shoot you. What do you want me to shoot you with?
Nothing.
There you go. See, what was the question? What do you want me to shoot you with? All I told you was I had a 9mm and I have a 45. See, that's what they're doing to us. And see, I'm able to build my case on what they're telling me. But if you have a notice of lien in the county, go pull it. That way you've got a number on it. That way you've got, in other words, there might be 6 liens or 20 liens or 100 liens on one piece of paper, but in the corner it'll have a number. That number is the dot. In other words, the place where it's at. You might even have 5 or 6, and that's fine. Then do a 12277. I want whatever the number is. It's on the thing, and write them there. I want those released. See, and then what's your reason for it? Because they were put down prematurely. It's on number 11. You check the box, and that goes on number 2, 3, and 4, or something like that. Just verbatim. Send it in. Watch what it does. They're going to play to your hand. They're going to go back to you don't qualify. 6332J. Now, the guy that's been looking stuff up, would you look up something else for me? And I'm going to show you how I'm using this to my advantage. I use everything they say to my advantage. Would you look up the 1040 instructions and download it, and then I'm going to show you how I use it to my advantage. Does that make sense?
Or the instructions.
So put in there, just put on your Google line 1040 instructions, and you want the PDF. Now, I've been clapping my jaw. So does anybody have any questions that I can try to answer for you if I can? You got to understand something. I'm not an attorney, and I don't give legal advice. But I've got a very unique way of thinking and seeing things, and so what I'm doing is we're putting a twist on stuff that they can't get any traction.
Okay, so the note, I have a question.
Please ask it.
Yes, thank you. So therefore, I received a letter from Social Security. Now, the response that I make, will it go to the IRS or Social Security? Because Social Security Administration is asking me the question or the letter. They're wanting me to respond, so I just, I have it here in Baltimore.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You're going to respond. You're going to respond. I don't know what it says. They're going to ask you something. Whatever they ask you, it's not good for you. Just deny it. See,
yeah,
have you been to the tax court yet?
Not yet. I'm after this. I'm going to go ahead and fill out my paperwork, and I think it takes $65 US dollars to
go ahead and start 60.
It up.
It takes 60, but that's okay. Now that the COVID is here, it's going to take a little longer. But what you're going to do is you're going to do that. But whatever it says on there, because the COVID is here and it's taking a long time to get that, there's a way that I'm doing it. I'm going to explain it to you and help you with your letter. Okay, now, don't hang up. Give me a second here. The guy that's looking up the 1040 instructions, did you get it?
Yes.
Okay, now, ma'am, listen to what he's going to read. Now, I'm going to show you how I'm a nut job. I'm going to twist this on you. Okay, go to page 100.
Okay,
and when you get to page read what is the heading on the top of it. I want to make sure you're on the right page.
Disclosure Privacy Act, Paper Reduction
Perfect.
Act notice.
Okay, that's the right page. Now, take your eyes. There's 3 columns, the left, the middle, and the right. Go to the left column and come back and forth and move your way down until you see the number 6001. I want you to read that. Start at the beginning there, and I'm going to stop you along the way, so don't read it too fast, so we can define what they're saying, so that then I can show the lady how to fix the problem they think she has. Go ahead.
Our legal right to ask for information.
Right there. Stop right there. Who's our?
The IRS.
Okay, so the IRS. Let's read it that way so that we can get a real good grasp of this. Go ahead.
The IRS's legal right to ask for information is Internal Revenue Code sections 6001, 6011, and 6012A, and their regulations.
Now stop right there. Now wait a minute. And there. Who's there?
And their regulations. Internal Revenue Code sections.
Okay. Go to the next sentence. Go ahead to the next sentence. It's actually in the next sentence. Go ahead. Read the next sentence.
They say that you...
Okay, stop. Now hold on. Who's they?
The regulations.
That's exactly right. So hold on a minute. The IRS has a legal right to ask for information. Now, what's the opposite of legal?
Lawful.
Illegal.
Lawful.
Illegal. Lawful and legal. Illegal. So it's illegal. Okay, now let's see what we have to do. Now finish that out.
They say you must file a return or statement with us.
Stop right there. Hold on. You absolutely have to do something. Tell me what it is you have to do.
File a return or a statement. Oh, excuse me.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay. It does not say a 1040 form there. So my question to you is, do you fill out a 1040? Do you do that?
I haven't, no. I mean...
Why?
No.
That's okay. TMI, ma'am. Too much information. You're going on. And so the question is asked, do you fill out... Hold on. You're getting ahead of me now. Do you file a 1040? See, now you won't answer. See, I'm just trying to show you how we need to be careful that we don't tell them too much. Do you file a 1040?
I have not.
Okay, see, that's not what I asked you. I have not. Okay, so in other words, you've never filed one from the day you were born until now? You've never filed one? See, that's a lie. See? So, okay, ask me the same question. See, but now hold on, TMI. I'm trying to show you, you can't do that because you're giving them too much information. They're going to come back and beat you to death with it. Okay, ask me the same question.
Have you filed the 1040, sir?
Yes, I have. That's not what I asked you. See, now you're stuck. See, when was the last one you filed? 1988. The question is, do you file a 1040? No. Why? Now, you said no. Why do you not file a 1040? Do you mind me asking you? Why don't you do that? Hello?
Well, I haven't worked. I don't have a job. I don't have a job.
See what you just did? Okay, so if you get a job, you're going to file one. Now ask me the same question.
I don't know what to ask.
See, do you see? No, but do you see what happens? See, you're giving too much information. Okay, do you follow 1040? No. Why? Because the 1040 instruction booklet on page 100 forbids me to. I'm done. What do you mean? It tells me I got to file a return or statement. Does not say a 1040. I file a statement. I file a statement. Well, what do you file? Eat shit and die. I'm good for the next. See? In other words, I'm going to use what they say, their paperwork, their stuff. I'm not going to go to the world court and get the world judge or the. See? So the question is, do you file a 1040? Well, I don't have a job, and my son's grown big, and my daughter's toe hurts, and my one ear's bigger than the other. See what you're doing? TMI. Now they're going to go through and pick. You got 7 things on the table that you have to defend every single one. I don't have to defend. I'm always on offense. Do you follow 1040? No. Why? Because the 1040 instruction booklet forbids me to. Really? It's right here on page 100. Does not say 1040, so I'm confused. Now, the next question is, they're going to send you your Social Security. Now, I'm going to try to explain it to you. What you do is you write the Social Security a question. I don't understand, or whatever they said, you answer their question. They're going to get back to you. Well, the IRS said, it just said their legal right is 6001, 6011, and 6012A. That's the only legal right they have. Now, ma'am, are you still with me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. I need help. I need you to go from your house, stop in Dallas on the way here, and pick up 75 pounds of heroin. Would you do that for me?
No.
I'm asking you, will you do that for me?
No, sir.
Why? Why?
Because that doesn't belong to me, first of all.
I don't care if it belongs. See? TMI.
Okay. Whoops. Sorry.
Well, okay. See? In other words, you're trying. Now, I'm going to make you defend this thing. Okay. Why won't you stop in Dallas and pick up 75 pounds of cocaine or heroin and bring it to me? Why won't you do that?
Because I'm going to get in trouble if I get stopped.
Why?
I'm going to be liable.
Why? It's illegal.
Oh, it's illegal. Oh, okay.
Well, you
right.
Didn't know, you didn't know heroin was illegal? You didn't know that?
Of course.
Okay. Now, go back, if you will. Our legal right is 6001, 6011, and 6012A and their regulation. That's it. You don't qualify for have your notice of lien release because of 6332J. They just gave you 75 pounds of cocaine or heroin. That's illegal. Now, we got it. Here's what it says. You're using a code that's outside of the legal right you have to do it. Either release it. Now, I can go to the federal court with that man and say, he's telling me I got a notice of lien, and it's illegal for him to have it there. It says it right here. My federal question would be, does the IRS agent, can they use an illegal substance and force me to do something that's illegal? They can't win. Doesn't that make sense? So now, answer the Social Security. They're going to tell you the IRS said, here's their legal right. You're trying to get involved with something illegal. You let the Social Security know it. That way, if they touch your money, they're liable. They're liable for the 75 pounds of cocaine. Because what's the difference between 6631J and a bag of cocaine? What's the difference?
Nothing.
That's exactly right, because they're both illegal. So I'm not going to I'm not going to stand there and TMI, and I don't take that. I'm not chewing you out, because see what happens. May I ask you your name just real quick? You can lie to me. You can lie to me. I know. Yeah. You can lie to me.
Okay. Isabel.
See, that's perfect. See, you didn't go. Well, see, that's not the question. See, the question was, what's your name? You answer what they ask, not one thing more. If you go buy a malt at Sonic and it's $4 and you give them a 10, thank you, and they walk away. Tell me what you're going to do.
Okay, come again, please.
You go to a Sonic or a ice cream store and buy a $4 malt. You give them a 10, and they say thank you and walk away. What are you going to do?
I need my change.
Wait a minute. That's what you're doing. When they ask you a question, did you just run off at the mouth? You're giving them a lot of extra change. Why? Because they're going to take every single one of those and they're going to hang you on it. You're going to say, oh, my God, I'm a nervous wreck. You opened yourself up to that. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Pretty much. In other words.
I mean, I'm answering you because I trust you. You're giving this example, but
right,
really.
I understand. But right. See, all right, when you get pulled over by the police officer and he walks up to the car and he says to you, do you know why I pulled you over? Tell me what you would say. You're speeding, you ran a red light and a stop sign, and you're not buckled up in your car. And he says to you, do you know why I pulled you over? Tell me what you're going to say.
No, sir, I really don't know.
See how simple that is? Make him tell you. See? Make him tell you. See? I always say, of course I know why you pulled me over. Why? Because I am so handsome you can't believe there's this much good looks in this old of a body. Am I correct? No. Oh, then why did you pull me over? See? Everything. I'm not telling you to do that. But what you do is never do TMI. If they ask you a question, how many answers should there be? One. Okay?
One.
Okay, now, let me ask you a question. How many kids do you have?
I don't know how to answer that.
All right, ask me the same question.
Okay, how many kids do you have?
0, none, not one, 0.
Okay, good then.
You're not going to believe this. My daughter today came home and she got a pretty good mark on her test. Do you see a conflict there?
I guess it would be probably.
To ask me a question again.
Okay, how many kids do you have?
0. My daughter came home today and showed me a report card. It was pretty darn good. Do you see a conflict?
Well, it could be. There could be. I don't know.
See? No, kids are goats. I have no goats. I have a daughter, though. See? In other words, I will not tell them what they just did. Do you have any kids? No. See? I'm done. See, they asked a question. I only answer the question they ask. That's it. I never go any farther. I'm not going to sit and say, well, sir, when you say that, I've got 2 daughters, 3 sons, I got a grandson, I got 2 granddaughters, and I've got a next-door neighbor. See, all of them, they can hang on. Well, who are they? Well, then you get, okay, now, when you don't show up to court, I got all these people that I can come and get you with. See, In other words, when they ask me a question, I answer the question. That's it. It's not up to me to tell them how to ask it. So, now let me ask you a question. Do you file a 1040?
No.
Why?
Because your booklet on page 100 tells me not to.
See how simple that was? Well, no, that's not what it says. Oh, here it is. See, now I can defend that. Why can I defend that? That's their writing, their book. Doesn't that make sense? Because when you say, no, I don't, because I'm not in a taxable job. Okay, then what is a taxable job? Well, I don't know. Then how do you know you're not in one? See what you did? You opened yourself up to to another 2 hours of questioning. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. See, so to protect myself, do you file a 1040? No. Why? Because your 1040 booklet, page 100, forbids me from it. And I just shut up. It don't say that. Okay. No problem. Because now I've got something that, yes, sir, as soon as you answer this question, see, I can show it to them. I can defend. See, I'm never on defense. That's the problem. See, I play offense all the time. Does that make sense? Now, I'm going to ask you a question, okay? What state do you live in, if you don't mind me asking? I'm not asking for your address or nothing. I just want to know what state you live in.
Texas.
All right. I live in Texas also. What state does water run from the top of the hill to the bottom of the hill? In what state?
Washington?
No, only the liquid state, because frozen water doesn't run down. See, you never you took. Wait a minute. What? I don't know. What do you mean? See, you could have said all 50. Still would have been wrong, because frozen water. See, water has 3 states: liquid, solid, and gas. See, so this is what they're doing. That's why you can't do TMI. Because when you give them too much information, they're going to come back with another question, another question, another question, another question. Pretty soon, you're in a position, I don't want to be here, but you did it to yourself. Doesn't that make sense?
Yes. It's too many questions.
See, it's too many answers. But that's all I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to show you now. If they said to you under 7601B1, you didn't file a tax return, and because you didn't file a tax return, you have to go to prison for willful failure to file. Tell me what they just did.
They did something illegal.
Why? No, they didn't. Why would you say that?
Oh, okay. They didn't explain.
You're right. No, you're right. It's not 660. See, it's not 6001, 6011, or 6012A. That's the only legal part they have. Title 26 is over 10,000 pages. It's 8.5 inches thick. I have it memorized. I have 6001, 6011, 6012A. That's it. That's all I got to know. Everything else is illegal to ask. When they ask me a question, did you file a tax return according to 6301? Why would I do that, sir? That's illegal. No, it's not. It says it is right here. So now, well, that doesn't count. Then what I said to the tax guy, really? So in other words, you're mailing these out. You're using the mail. It's not correct. So what you're doing is mail fraud. I like it. That's a felony, bud. So now he'll ask me a question, and I'll say, well, is that mail fraud too? See, I'm talking about mail fraud. He's talking about filing a tax return. They can't get any traction. See? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I recommend that you go to the tax court. It is the Culvert, whatever it is, COVID 19. You go there and get your tax order. once you get your tax order, if you have one, it might be tough to get in. Call the court, and when the lady answers the phone, say, I'd like 3, whatever you want, 4, 10, 100, none, certified copies for docket number 1, 2, 3, 4 dash whatever. And they'll get you and tell you, go to this website. You go to the website. It's US.gov. Whatever it is. You put in, it pops up the receipt you just asked for will say $6 $40. You pay for it, then they will mail it to you. Then what I did is I got a motion, and I got if they won't do it now, they might not do it now, but I got my signature page certified. If not, just get you a couple of them. It's 5 pages. It's going to cost you $5 plus the 5. It's going to cost you $10 for it. I'm going to tell you something. It's the best money you'll ever spend, because now you've got the motion and the order. And what I did is I copied a bunch of them, and then I highlight them, and that way I use that for everything. If I get a letter in the mail from the IRS, which I have not gotten a letter from the IRS in over 9 years, but when I get one, I take the court order that's highlighted, that's got the embossment. I fold it up, put it in the envelope, and I mail it back. I'm done. And I've got several other people that have finally snapped to that, and that's what they're doing. Every day I get 2 or 3 calls saying, I just got a letter from the IRS. Take your certified copy it, put it in the envelope, and mail it back. Mail the letter back, the envelope back, their envelope back. Get a copy of it so you have a copy that you got it, so you know, and then put it up. Take the envelope they send it to you and open it up, copy the letter, take the copied letter and put it up, take the original letter, fold it, put it in an envelope, put their envelope in the envelope, and then take your certified copy of your court order, put it in there, and you're done. It takes 2 minutes, and you're done. No matter what they tell you, it's done. Because if they come back and say, that's no good, then so what you're doing is you're selling cocaine now. See, it's illegal. They can't do what they're doing. Here's your tools. I'm trying to give you as many tools as I can. Does anybody else have a question? Okay, jurisdiction. Go ahead.
Last time we talked, a few conference calls ago, we talked about if you get a denial letter as a result of filing the Form 12277 saying that we were not...
You're going to get... So hold on. You're going to get one. But go ahead, and I'm telling you what it says. You're going to get one, and it's going to say... You're going to get one, and it's going to say because of 6332J. Go ahead.
Exactly right, yes. So last time we talked about being able to go after the person who made that determination as a legal determination, asking for their bar. Are we still using it as a valid argument, or what you presented tonight a better one?
This here, I go back and tell them it's illegal. What they're doing is illegal. Let them do what they're going to do. Then I go after the bar card. The reason for it is how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So you get 2 or 3 bites and then go after it. You have a better chance. I'm able to move. As things change, I'm able to help change it. So what you do is you send in the 12277. When it comes back, they're going to deny you because of 6332J. Now, that's illegal because what's that? I'm sorry, I'm knocking on somebody.
Oh, well, we got them unmuted.
Yeah, somebody's unmuted. If you would mute, please. Anyway, do you see what's happening? How do you eat an elephant? You can't eat the elephant in one bite. So why don't we do two things and then go after the bar card? The bar card's still a good strategy, but you see, we can prove it. We can prove that it's illegal. We can prove that it's fraud. We can prove that it's frivolous. Now I want to see the bar card. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I did request that, actually. Of course, I was met with silence. So I'm looking for the next step. So,
the silence, then you go back after them and say, hey, you're under your silence, you admit it. It's still at the county. If it's not released, you're going to court. And then file the lawsuit. It'll be released. I haven't had to file a law. I filed one. As soon as I filed it, they gave me everything that I wanted. They just rolled over like a cheap suit. Is what they did. They just collapsed. And because, see, it doesn't really matter. You can't sue the IRS in court. They understand that. They know that. So I don't sue them. I sue them under a federal question. Go on the United States District Court. The one in Washington I know does it, but the one local, go on there and look it up. There's a tab on it that says, what does it say? More about the tax order. Something about knowing more about the court. There's a tab there. When you open it, it says jurisdiction. We are a court of limited jurisdiction. We only can hear the following cases. And they list them. There's only 5 or 6. That's it. They can't hear anything else. So what I do, I take my lawsuit and I word it for one of those 5. Then they can hear it. See? Then when they can hear it, go ahead.
Understand.
See? So what we have to do. So I want to ask you a question, okay?
Yeah.
You borrow my truck. You turn the key on and it says low fuel. You want to go somewhere. You're going to have to put fuel in my truck. You pull up to the gas pump and it says 87 octane, 88 octane, mid-grade, 93 octane, and diesel fuel. What are you going to put in it?
I'm going to call you and ask you first.
Okay, you can't get a hold of me. What are you going to put in it?
I'm going to put the cheapest one in I can buy.
Okay, so in other words, you're going to put diesel fuel in it.
No, I'll put the 87.
Oh, really? Okay, see, my truck, you can't put 87 in my truck. See the problem? You're guessing. I don't guess. Doesn't that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, see, and that's all I'm trying to do. See, okay, I drive an F-150. A tree fell over the top of it, but the hood is flat. It's completely destroyed. The truck is red. I called the junkyard and I said, "Hey, I got a pickup truck and I need a red hood." He said, "I got 500 of them." I said, "How much?" He says, $100. I wire him $100. I go pick it up, put it in the back of my truck, and I got it home. It won't fit. Why is that? Why won't it fit? It's red.
Right. I can't answer that.
Okay, I drive an F-150 and it's a Ram.
Mm-hmm.
See? In other words, we have to know this stuff. That's all I'm telling you. I don't care what they say. Anything they say, I use against them. Why? Because I believe that's the proper way to do it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
See?
Awesome.
So,
thank you.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to hit you with a hammer or I'm going to hit you with a baseball bat. Which one would hurt the most?
Well, I would want neither, but hurts who?
Which one would hurt the most?
Well, hurting who?
See how simple that was? See how simple that is? That's all I do. Well, your next door neighbor. Oh, I don't care. Hit him with either one. I wouldn't feel it anyway. See, that's all I do right there. I make them tell me what they're asking. Why? Doesn't that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Ask them to define everything.
There it is. When I was a kid, I just remember when you said that. My one friend, he says, I have a match, and this bad boy, he said, it burns twice. I said, no way. He struck the match and lit it and went, blew it out and then stuck it on my arm. I said, you SOB. He said, burned twice, didn't it? I should, see? Well, wait a minute. That don't make sense. Oh, it made a lot of sense. So he did. I see him do that 100 times. Lights the match. There's once, blows it out and sticks it on your arm. Ow! There's the second burn. See, again, oh, man, why didn't I think of that? See what I'm saying? Because you're going to stand there or make a bet. How's this? I'll make a bet with you. Bet you $100 I can make this match burn twice. Guy throws in a $100 bill. I light it, blow it on, stick it on his arm. Oh, well, that ain't what I meant. I don't care what you meant. I got me $100. See, that's what they're doing to us because they're making these outlandish stuff, and we just stand there and let them beat our brains out. So let me ask you a question. Do you follow? Okay, do you follow the 1040 guy? This time
no.
Do you follow the 1040? Why?
Because I'm not required to.
All right. Now, all right. You said you're not required to. So, in other words, you think you should take advantage of the other American people. Everybody that files taxes, you should be paid off of their backs. They're paying for the highways. They're paying for all the government people. They're paying to have the roads cleaned, and you don't think you should participate in that. Is that what you're saying?
I say ignorance of the law is no excuse.
So, in other words, what you're saying is, you argue it any way you want. I argue it the way I do because. No, I don't. Why? Because your 1040 instruction booklet tells me I'm forbidden to. I don't care. See? Yeah. Because of my attack, I attacked them so hard, they changed the 1040 instruction booklet. I can show you the day they did it. Because back in the 1990s, late 90s, on the 1040 instruction, line 22 said total income. Add line so-and-so through so-and-so. When you went to the 1040 instruction booklet, the booklet said line 19, line 20, line 21, line 23. I took that in there, and I beat them so bad, the next year they changed it, took that out, and they changed it, and they call that line something else now.
Time's up.
Anybody, thank you for calling.
Thank you, Kerry. I yield.
It's my pleasure.
Okay. Thank all of you for calling in tonight.
Yep, thank you.
We'll be putting out a...
All right.
We'll have the next call.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Gary. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right.